Is the playoff final about to be delayed in unprecedented circumstances due to the ongoing spying controversy between Southampton and Middlesbrough? Hello everybody and welcome back to Full House Sports. Here myself, Charlie. A reminder before the video starts to please like, comment and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Yes, the plot thickens. I'm not even trying to be funny about this, but this is one of the wildest football stories I can remember for a long time, in terms of all of the context involved in it, in terms of the almost 007 style escape routes, and then the investigation that's felt like an almost CIA level investigation, the controversy surrounding it, the emotions involved, the actual games themselves didn't go without controversy either. And now we've got this breaking news that the EFL are saying the playoff final may be delayed. It's scheduled to take place on Saturday, May 23rd at Wembley, as always, between Southampton and Hull. Southampton, of course, came through extra time against Middlesbrough on Tuesday evening. That late goal from Shea Charles, I mean, was it a cross, was it a shot? He won't care. But that saw them through after Middlesbrough went 1-0 up. Of course, the first leg was 0-0. But that's just about where the story begins. There was obviously stuff going on the pitch on Tuesday, which I'm not going to talk about just because Luke Ayling has decided not to press that further. Whatever was said between him and Harwood Bellis, I don't excuse what Harwood Bellis has allegedly said, but it's not going any further. It's what's going on off the pitch, more specifically what's going on golf courses, that's quite something. The Daily Mail obviously have leaked this photo of a gentleman, I think his name's William Salt, who is an intern at Southampton, who took a photo videoed Middlesbrough's training. Now, Tom de Ecker, Southampton's coach, has said, I had nothing to do with this. I don't know what's going on. I didn't know it, have any knowledge of this. There were some pretty pressing questions from journalists on Tuesday night after the game. A couple of them just asked him straight up, are you a cheat? To which he walked out of both and was quite angered, I think, by. Middlesbrough have got what they think is pretty conclusive evidence, mainly because I think Salt has purchased a can of Coke from the golf course that he used as an escape route next to next to Middlesbrough's training ground. They say they've got evidence of him using his bank card on there, which they've put to the EFL and put to Southampton. There's also talk that they're going to go through service stations, or other clubs now are going through if he's used theirs, because this is the other thing now, is there's other clubs allegedly as well who are talking to the EFL and saying that they believe Southampton should be expelled from the playoffs. Now, obviously, Southampton put their ticket information for the playoffs up the other day and then rather swiftly took it straight down. Now, did that come from the EFL? Did they warn Southampton and say, look, you are not putting this information out because there's no guarantee you're going to be there yet? Obviously, what I think has come of this, and I was having this discussion with a friend the other day, I think the problem with this is, and with the EFL, is obviously, I remember it happening a few years ago in 2019 in the playoffs when it was Derby and Leeds, and obviously Bielsa, Lampard, etc., etc. And I think the EFL brought in all these rules about sporting sanctions because I don't think they'd ever really thought they'd ever need to use them again. And then this has now come out with Southampton and Middlesbrough, and I think the EFL are almost looking at their book and going, oh yeah, we wrote that, didn't we? And almost thinking that, we forgot, now what are we going to do? Because there is talk of sporting sanctions in their rules surrounding this. Like, for example, removal from the playoffs or points deductions. My opinion of the whole thing is, I have two opinions. One is, I doubt Southampton are the only club at this. It's very commonplace in South America to do this. Bielsa was, when he sort of came to the UK, he did his big PowerPoint presentation, did his spreadsheet presentation. But he also said almost, well, this is commonplace in South America. People hide in trees, people do all sorts to watch training. I can't believe that they don't do it in Europe. The second point of view is if this is the case, I think it becomes very hard as any fan of any club to justify Southampton being there if other clubs come with evidence. Because let's not forget, Southampton did have this miraculous upturn in form. Now, that was also down to probably Tom de Ecker and the tactics, and also they have a very good squad. They had the parachute payments as well. But I wonder if the EFL and Ecker, I wonder how much Ecker knew about this. Because I don't believe for a moment he didn't know about this. And if that is the case, morally, where do you stand with that? Because unless you can conclusively prove, like I've said, that other clubs are doing it, it becomes a Southampton issue, and it's very problematic. It's very problematic with how do you deal with that. I don't know. I'm not. Thankfully, I'm not making the decision, because I think if the EFL do expel them, then there's a chance Southampton could take it to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and then if they overrule, it becomes really, really messy. And yeah, I mean, we could end up having playoff finals replayed and all sorts going on, and having a summer. I've had it as a Forest fan this year, where at the start of the season it was all, we're going to take Palace to court, and then it really disrupted our summer. So all three clubs potentially, I mean, Hull are the innocent bystanders in this, but Southampton, Middlesbrough may have their pre-season disrupted. It'll be very interesting to see how they deal with this. I'm very intrigued. As always, guys, let us know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated. There's a Tribal One Man Sports News bandwagon. As always, have a great day.